Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Iti namine Namah. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari 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 Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashoda Nandana Vraja Jana Ranjana Yashodanandana Vraja Jana Ranjana Yashodanandana Vraja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare
Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Jaya Radha Krishna Chandra Radha Krishna Chandra Radhe,
Jaya Radha Krishna Chandra Radha Krishna Chandra Radhe.
Jaya Krishna Balaram Krishna Balaram Krishna Balaram Jaya Vrindavan Dham.
Jaya Krishna Balaram, Krishna Balaram, Krishna Balaram, Jaya Vrindavan.
Jaya Nitai Gauranga, Jaya Nitai Gauranga, Nitai Gauranga, Jaya Nitai Gauranga.
Nitai Gauranga, Jaya Nitai Gauranga, Nitai Gauranga, Jaya Nitai Gauranga.
Jaya Jaya Gurudev Prabhupada, Gurudev
Prabhupada, Gurudev Prabhupada.
Nitai Gaur.
Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajakacharya Ashtottara Shatashi Srimad His Divine Grace Abhay Charanarvind Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. ISKCON founder Acharya, BBT founder Acharya, savior of the whole world Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Grantharaj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Vrinde Devi Tulsi Maharani ki. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 15, Text number 41. Vacham juhava manasi tat prana itare chatam mrutyau apanam sotsargam tam panchatvehi ajohavit. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Translation. Then he amalgamated all the sense organs into the mind, then the mind into the life, life into breathing, his total existence into the embodiment of the five elements, and his body into the death. Then, as a pure self, he became free from the material conception of life. Purport. Maharaja Yudhisthira, like his brother Arjuna, began to concentrate and gradually became freed from all material bondage. First, he concentrated all the actions of the senses and amalgamated them into the mind. Or, in other words, he turned his mind towards the transcendental service of the Lord. He prayed that since all the material activities are performed by the mind in terms of actions and reactions of the material senses, and he, since was going back to Godhead, the mind would wind up its material activities and be turned towards the transcendental service of the Lord. There was no longer a need for material activities. Actually, the activities of the mind cannot be stopped, for they are the reflection of the eternal soul. But the quality of the activities can be changed from the matter to the transcendental service of the Lord. The material color of the mind is changed when one washes it from the contamination of life breathing and thereby frees it from the contamination of repeated births and deaths and situates it in pure spiritual life. All is manifested by the temporary embodiment of the material body, which is production of mind at the time of death. Production of mind at the time of death, and if the mind is purified by the practice of transcendental loving service to the Lord and is constantly engaged in the service of the lotus feet of the Lord, there is no more chance of the mind's producing another material body after death. It will be freed from absorption in material contamination. The pure soul will be able to return home back to Godhead. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport. Here, the yogic practice of Yudhisthira is explained. So this shows this particular verse from the 15th chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, where the title of the chapter is The Pandavas Retire Timely. The timely retire of the Pandavas. So Pandavas now, because Krishna has winded up his pastimes, so Pandavas also, who are eternal associates of the Lord, also decide to wind up their activities and go back to home, back to Godhead. So that is the scenario where Yudhisthira, Arjuna and all other Pandavas wish to go back to home, back to Godhead, not to remain here in this material world. So this chapter is very wonderfully named as the Pandavas retire timely. Means each and every living being in this planet should be aware that timely we should retire from the material activities and focus ourselves to go back to home, back to Godhead. Not to get stuck, not to get attracted to this material world so much that we keep doing our material activities till the last breath. Not that the person would die thinking of his properties, thinking of his family members, thinking of all the wealth which he has created and what will happen next to it. No. When there is sufficient energy in the body, a person in the Vedic culture, now it's a Kali Yuga, the scenario may be slightly different, there is a solution for that. But however, in the Dwapara Yuga you can see the process which was maintained in the Vedic culture is to retire. Pandavas still had sufficient energy in their body, but they decided to retire because they found out they have nominated the next person to occupy the throne, their grandson Parikshit. Now it's a time, their duties are over, they have to focus on going back to home, back to Godhead. That is the beauty of the Vedic culture, where the Kshatriyas or anybody for that matter, as their children grow, they give up their all the attraction for material things, look for higher things. This can happen only if we are trained from our childhood. Because attraction for the material facilities, material activities, it is not so easy to give up. It is not just a philosophy. It is possible to give up only if somebody has sufficient knowledge, the transcendental knowledge, and sufficient practice of spiritual life he has done in his life, so that he will be able to give up the attraction towards material things. So Pandavas, being great devotees of the Lord, the right time they decided, now let us give up all these things. Actually, this also shows those days Kshatriyas, Brahmanas and Kshatriyas, high class society, all were aware of these yogic practices. Here it is explained. Then he amalgamated, who? We are talking about Yudhisthira. Then he amalgamated all the sense organs into the mind. So all the senses are connected to mind. He withdraws his senses to the mind. Then mind into the life. The mind is actually a manifestation. The activities in the mind, the triggers for the mind, the life for the mind is given by the soul. So he has withdrew it. And life into breathing. This is a process of yogic practice. You might have heard the word chakra meditation. From different chakras in the body, from the lowest chakra to the highest chakra called Sahasrara, they lift the life air. There are 5 kinds of life air. So they lift the life air because the soul is made situated in the life air, and lift the life air and uplift the consciousness, and the yogi will be able to give up his life whenever he wishes. Generally, how do people die? When the body is no more able to sustain life. That's what we see today in this age. When people are about to die, they are admitted to hospital. In the hospital, they put him in ICU. In ICU, they put him in a ventilator. His body is no more able to breathe. Artificially, he is made to breathe. Artificially, his heart is made to pump. Somehow, give all energy to body to keep the life. When no more, nothing works. Ventilator does not work. A pulping of the heart is not happening. No medicine is helping. Then doctors will say, there's a multi-organ failure. We cannot help. Now he cannot live, sustain anymore. He died. This is not a glorious death. This is not the death as per the Vedic culture we are supposed to undergo. We are supposed to yam vapi smaran bhavan tajante ante kalevaram. This is how we are supposed to. Anta kale cha mameva smaran muktva kalevaram. You have to peacefully remember the Lord, remember the glories of the Lord, have your bhakti, the love towards God. With that consciousness, give up the body. Or if somebody has achieved the yogic perfection in the earlier ages like Dwapara Yuga, like Yudhisthira, he now decided to withdraw the senses and decided, let me look for higher things. Can you see how he is working? He is understanding now, this is sufficient for me. Now my grandson has come to take over the throne. Let him rule the kingdom. I am not attached to rule the kingdom. I am not attached for administration. I am not attached for the power. I am not attached for any things. Let the next generation take up. Let me give up all these things and go. Because my goal is to go to the lotus feet of the Lord. So this is the consciousness. This is how in the earlier ages, even the Kshatriyas and all the Brahmanas had this ability to uplift themselves and decide to withdraw, decide to exit. Like we heard of Bhishma Deva. When he decided that he has to exit, he exited. Ichchamarani. So he decides when to die. So this is called yogic perfection. That yogic perfection is required for one who does not want to continue his material life, where janma mrityu jara vyadi dukkha doshanu darshanam. So with this chakra meditation, people try to uplift. But unfortunately, this is not very appropriate technique for this age of Kali, where we are not able to focus our mind. Mamaiva amsha jiva loke jiva bhuta sanatanaha mana shashtani indriyani prakrite sthane karshati. Lord Krishna says in Gita that if the man is struggling in this world with the mana shashtani indriyani, all the senses including mind, they're karshati. They are actually struggling in this world, but actually they belong to me. And we all are struggling in this world, and the process which is mentioned for earlier ages, we cannot practice. All the yoga practice which we can do, it may be to keep some good health these days. We may get some good health to continue material enjoyment for some more time, some more years. Material enjoyment is considered like itching, material itching. You know, sometimes when you feel little itching in the body, you keep itching, what happens? Further you wanted to do more. It doesn't end. Somewhere you have to tolerate it and leave it, isn't it? Otherwise you will see blood coming out after some time. So the material activities, we should not think, let me do the material activities more and more and more, so that one day I'll get enough of this. You may say enough of this, next day again it comes. So the process is that we have to give up the material enjoyment. We have to give up the material activities by seeing the higher things in our life. So yogic practices of this chakra meditation may not help in this age, because in this age we are so fallen, it is not possible to focus the mind and withdraw the senses. By these practices, our mind is so disturbed in this age. It is very, very difficult. How do we say this? This is said in Bhagavatam. So if you see, in the first canto of Bhagavatam, the first chapter, the sages of Naimisharanya ask a question. If you see in the same book which I am having here, if I see the first chapter of the first canto, and if I go to the last verse of the first chapter, let us see how does the first chapter of the first canto ends. Very interesting it is. It says, Bruhi Yogeshware Krishne Brahmanye Dharma Varmani Swam Kashtam Adhunopete Dharmaha Kam Sharanam Gataha. Dharmaha Kam Sharanam Gataha. What is the question of the sages? Since Sri Krishna, the absolute truth, the master of all mystic powers, has departed for his own abode, please tell us to whom the religious principles have now gone for shelter. Where does Dharma take shelter now? Krishna has gone back, winded up his pastimes. This is the concern of the sages, because they are the well-wishers. They are the well-wisher of all the living beings. They are concerned. Now that Kali Yuga is setting in, Kali Yuga is coming. Now that Krishna has winded up his pastimes, Dharmaha Kam Sharanam Gataha. Where is Dharma taken shelter? Where is Dharma now? Let us see whether Shukadeva Goswami or Suta Goswami tell it is taken shelter in the chakra meditation. Did it take shelter in chakra meditation? Let us see what did they say. So they said, Savai pumsa paro dharmo yato bhaktiradhokshaje ahaituki apratihata yayatma suprasidati. What is the process? The supreme occupation of all the humanity is that by which men can attain to loving devotional service unto the transcendental Lord. Such devotional service must be unmotivated and uninterrupted to completely satisfy the self. So only process is devotional service. How to achieve that devotional service? Further, there is explanation that we should render devotional service, practical devotional service to the Lord. And one more process very nicely explained in this answer of sages. They say, Shrunvatam Swakata Krishna. So I request you to repeat. Shrunvatam Swakata Krishna. Punya Shravana Kirtanaha. Hridyantaha stohi abhadrani. vidunoti suhrit satam. Shri Krishna, the personality of Godhead, who is Paramatma in everyone's heart and the benefactor of the truthful devotee, cleanses desires for material enjoyment from the heart of the devotee who has developed the urge to hear his messages, which are in themselves virtuous, then properly heard and chanted. The process is Shrunatam Swakata Krishna. You have to hear the wonderful glories of the Lord. Not any other kinds of meditation can help us in this age of Kali to elevate ourselves to the spiritual platform. All other processes will have some effects. Definitely, Yajna Yagas have effects in Kali Yuga. Yogic practice also will have effects in Kali Yuga. Effects are there. But we are looking for ultimate perfection. Can you achieve ultimate perfection? No, by this process you cannot achieve. So process is Shrunatam Swakata Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtana. So that is the process which is Sankirtana movement, which is Hare Krishna movement is propagating. I remember in my younger days once, when I was going to college, I was fascinated about yogis and decided to take some yogic initiation. So very famous yogi, and I would not like to mention the name, however. So there was a guru of that yogic parampara had come to Bangalore, and there was an opportunity to take diksha from him. So I was very fascinated to take diksha from a yogi and become a yogi. So I decided, let me go, because it is said in the Gita, in the 6th chapter of Gita, what does it say? Tapasvibhyo adhiko yogi jnanibhyo api matho adhikaha karmibhyaha chadhiko yogi tasmat yogi bhavarjuna. It is said, a yogi is greater than the ascetic, greater than the empiricist, greater than the fruity worker. Therefore, O Arjuna, in all circumstances, be a yogi. So I became very thrilled. I should become a yogi. There is an opportunity to become yogi. So there is a big process. They have asked us to go empty stomach, not fasting, and we are waiting. And a lot of processes and all happened. Some yajna, this, that. Then finally, each one of us are supposed to go to him and sit next to the yogi who is giving initiation, diksha. He will press they talk about chakra meditation. Okay. So he said, when we have to go and sit close to him, he will press our eyes like this, little bit. And he says, see, you focus on the center of the eyebrows, you will see a color. Okay. What color appears in your mind, you please keep watching. When you appear that bright color, that is the color which you should meditate throughout your life. So everybody was going in a queue. They are able to see. They are happily coming back and sitting. So my turn came and I went. He pressed my eyes like this. I am not able to see anything. Are you seeing something? Generally when you press your eyes, you will see some kind of different color, isn't it? I am understanding it is nothing yogic power. It is happening because of eyes has been pressed. And I said, I am not able to see anything. He did 2 times, 3 times, 4 times. Then he touched my head. Oh, Baba, what is happening? Then I started feeling guilty myself. If I he is not able to do, he is also unhappy. No, young days, no. So we don't want to make others unnecessarily, because I wanted to become a yogi and he is a yogi after all. Why to make him feel bad? I said, yeah, I am able to see some color. All right, that is the color you should meditate on throughout your life. Okay, go and be seated. So this is how the chakra meditation, then they taught how to do the chakra meditation and elevate our consciousness. Then I came to ISKCON. I told Prabhu, I am trying to become a yogi. Then he said, the what you are talking about, tapasvibhyo adhiko yogi, janibhyo api adhiko dikaha, this is in the 46th verse of 6th chapter. There is one more verse in this chapter. 47th verse. And he gave Bhagavad Gita is in my hand, the devotee. I read. It said, Yoginam api sarvesham madgaterantaratmana Shraddhavan bhajate yo mam same yukta tamo mataha. This is how this chapter ends. After all the yogis, he was always abides in me with the great faith. Worshipping me in a transcendental loving service is most intimately united with me in yoga, and he is the highest of all. Oh, this is what, this they didn't tell me. They only told 46 verses are there. 47th verse I did not see in Bhagavad Gita. So the point is that how Srila Prabhupada has given us the highest thing, delivered the highest thing, the highest yoga practice in the form of Bhakti Yoga, in the form of ISKCON organization for all of us. We may not require to do the yogic chakra meditation, sit in Himalayas, but we can achieve. This is the process. Not other processes also can achieve, but in the age of Kali, this is the process. This is the highest. Just like we all heard the story of Ambarish Maharaj. Ambarish Maharaj was a great devotee of Lord. Like Prabhupada explains in the purport today, he says, the mind cannot keep quiet. Only that mind's activity should be diverted towards the service of the Lord. That is the highest process. Not only in age of Kali, in all the ages for that matter. Problem with the Kali Yuga is that we are unable to focus our mind, and other yoga practices are not possible. This is the one which is possible. Also, this is the highest. So what was Ambarish Maharaj doing? What was the yoga practice Ambarish Maharaj was doing? It was very nicely explained in Bhagavatam. When how Ambarish Maharaj was a great devotee, when that explanation came, this beautiful verse, you all might have heard this. So I request all of you to repeat after me. Very beautiful verse. Savai mana Krishna padara vindayor Vachamsi Vaikuntha Gunanu Varnane Karau Harer Mandira Marjanadhishu Shrutim Chakarachyuta Satkathodhaye Mukunda Lingalaya Darshane Drishau Mukunda Lingalaya Darshane Drishau Tadbhritya Gatra Sparshe Anga Sangamam Tadbhritya Gatra Sparshe Anga Sangamam Granam cha tatpada saroja saurabhe Granam cha tatpada saroja saurabhe Srimad Tulasya Rasanam Tadarpite Padau Hare Kshetra Padanusarpane Shire Hrishikesha Padabhivandane Kamam Chadasye Natu Kama Kamyaya Yatottama Shloka Janashayaratihi. So this was the yoga practice which Ambarish Maharaj was doing. What is that? Savai mana Krishna padara vindayo. Mind is engaged in meditating on the lotus feet of the Lord. Vachamsi Vaikuntha Gunanu Varnane. His sense of speech is used for what? To glorify the Lord and the abode of the Lord. Karau harer mandira marjanadau. Hand for what? For cleansing, for cleaning Lord's temple. Shrutim chakarachyuta satkatodhaye. The sense of hearing for what? For hearing satkatodhaye, Lord Krishna's pastimes. Mukunda lingalaya darshane drishau. Eyes for what? Mukunda lingalaya. To look at the beautiful decorated Lord in the temple. Tadbritya gatra sparshenga sangamam. For what the body, the sense of touch is used? For touching the body of the devotees of the Lord. Granam cha tatpada saroja saurabe. Sense of smelling for what? For tulasi, Srimad Tulasya. So tulasi smell which is offered to the lotus feet of the Lord. Rasanam tadarpite. For tongue for relishing the prasadam, food offered to the Lord. Padau harer kshetra padanu sarpane. Leg, like you all did today. Used your leg to come to temple. So, kamam cha dasye natu kama kamyaya. The desires for what? Desires not for establishing one's sense desires, for the sense gratifications. It is for natu kama kamyaya, chadasye natu kama kamyaya. For Lord's desires, service, devotional service. Let my desires be engaged in the service of the Lord. Yatottama shloka janashtaye ratihi. And attachment for those who have taken the shelter of the Lord. So this is how the Ambarish Maharaj was practicing. Hence, when the great yogi, great sage, when he came, Durvasa Muni, when he came and cursed Ambarish Maharaj, and he created a demon to kill Ambarish Maharaj. What happened we know. Chakra came, not that chakra. This chakra came. And this chakra came and established its supremacy and chased that chakra somewhere else. Isn't it? So, we need to, in this age of Kali, the importance is to worship the personality who is holding chakra. When you worship the personality who is holding chakra, we get purified. Vasudeve Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Niyojitaha Janayati Ashu Vairagyam. When we do that, all that required, what Yudhisthira has achieved in the Dwapara Yuga, being in the association of the Lord, what Pandavas achieved, what Ambarish Maharaj achieved in different age, where everything was favorable for practicing devotional service, in this age also you can achieve. How to achieve that? That is the process. In the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he came to deliver this, because he understood in this age all these people will try various things. There are sincere people. They are sincere. They are attempting to progress in their spiritual life. We are not making fun of them. They are serious and sincere about making progress in spiritual life. Somehow, they have not yet got the right process to go back to Godhead. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he came, Namo Mahavadhanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratvishe Nama. He came, he decided, in this age of Kali, we cannot expect the very elevated people. Let me liberate people very easily. There should not be any difficult process in this age. Hence he has given very simple process. What is that? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. And he has set as an example. He has shown that he has come. He is Namo Mahavadanyaya. He is not ordinary person. You know, in Jagannath Puri, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would perform his various pastimes, he would sometimes go into ecstasy of Krishna Prema. He would sometimes consider the ocean which is there in Jagannath Puri as Yamuna river. He would go and jump there. He would remember the Lord and he would go to ecstasy and fall unconscious. So devotees, those who are associate of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they were always conscious. What is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu doing? Where is he? Because they were concerned of the protection of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That was their service. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is enacting various pastimes. Once, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in the night went into ecstasy and went and jumped into the ocean, was missing. And his associates started searching, where is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? Where is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? Nowhere he was found. Actually, he had jumped to the ocean. And one fisherman who went for fishing, in his net, he got a big fish. He's trying to lift and lift. It was a human. It's a human look-like creature, and it was Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And he lifted, and he touched Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and all the news spread everywhere. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is found back, and everybody assembled there. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in ecstasy, not in the conscious of this world. He's in ecstasy of Krishna prema. And slowly when devotees chanted and trying to get back Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, this fisherman who lifted Chaitanya Mahaprabhu through his net, while lifting he definitely touched the body of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He started dancing Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, with full of ecstasy. All his tears are coming from his eyes and he's fully gotten Krishna prema. What is the eligibility the fisherman has got? He is doing a sinful activity of catching fish and selling. But Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna prema pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya namne Gauratvishe Namaha. Forget our fisherman. Once one dog came. When Shivananda Sena, who is the associate of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and devotee of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, came from Bengal to Jagannath Puri, one dog continuously followed Shivananda Sena. Sometimes you see when we go, some dogs follow, street dogs, the stray dogs. So one dog followed, and devotee is being very merciful, allowed the dog to come and started feeding and take care of the dog. One fine day in Jagannath Puri, this dog was missing. And already this devotee had got a little attachment to the dog because he considered that dog as a devotee dog because it is taking association of devotees. Who does not like the association of devotees? Even the dog is also following. So he considered anybody is showing some interest in the association of devotees, he should be given all respects. Because he is not ordinary soul. He is getting attached to devotees of the Lord. So he started encouraging the dog and feeding. One fine day it was missing. So Shivananda Sena sent all his assistants and guards and everybody in search of the dog. Around 200 men went around everywhere searching, where is that dog? Where is that dog? Dog was not visible. They were all morosed. Dog is not found. Next day when they were going to Jagannath Puri temple, they found Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is sitting next to that dog. And taking little of coconut pulp, throwing to the dog. Dog is catching it, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying, chant Hare Krishna. And dog is saying Hare Krishna. And dog is repeating Hare Krishna. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is giving some prasad and asking dog, chant Hare Krishna. Dog started chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Then devotees found, from next day, the dog is not found. Dog went back to home, back to Godhead. So dog is liberated. Dog is considered as one of the highest level of non-devotee, according to the scriptures. There are shastras and scriptures who rigidly follow. There is a rule that when you are eating food, if you see the dog, you should give up the food and go. Dog is considered very abominable species. Of course, these days people keep at home and worship it. So, but the thing is, how The Vedic scriptures are looking dog, because Prabhupada explains this in one of the purpose of Chaitanya Charitamrita. He says why dog is considered as the highest non-devotee, because dog does not even respect Tulsi. It passes urine on Tulsi plant. So dog is a more abominable species. Of course, after all, it's a jiva, it's a soul, but unfortunately because of the sinful activities committed, the jiva has taken the body of dog. And that dog, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, by liberating that dog, and proved, Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate. He is such a magnanimous, he is such a great personality who can deliver. You need not to do any chakra meditation. You need not to do any of these kind of yogic practices in Kali Yuga. You have to simply obey the orders of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and chant the holy names of the Lord. Very, very simple. Cheto darpana marjanam bhava mahadhavagni nirvapanam Shreya chandrika vitaranam vidya vado jivanam Anandam buddhivardhanam pratibadam purnamrita swadanam Param vijayate Shri Krishna sankirtanam Namna makari bahudha nijasarva shaktihi. All the potency has been invested in this holy name. Namna makari bahudha nijasarva shaktihi. Tatrarpita niyamitaha smaranena kalaha. There is no rules, no regulations. Chant the holy names of the Lord. And the perfection which Yudhisthira achieved by amalgamating his senses to the mind to the life air to the breathing and then giving up this body, detaching from this material world, can be achieved in this age also without those yogic practices, which is actually not possible to perform by chanting the holy names of the Lord. What a fortunate living beings, those who come for this shelter of chanting the holy name. And it is mentioned in the scripture, this is the process. Shrunvatam Sakata Krishna Punyashravana Kirtana. This is declared by the sages. At the beginning of Kali Yuga, they have decided this is the process. Because they were concerned. As Krishna disappeared, what will happen to Dharma? Where will Dharma take shelter? So they have decided, they have declared, it is recorded, 5,000 years old scripture is talking about it. It is saying the process is Shrunotam Swakata Krishna Punyashravana Kirtana. Hear about the Lord, chant the glories of the Lord. So this is the process. You also see that how Srila Prabhupada continued this parampara, ensured most fallen people in this age get this Krishna consciousness. And Srila Prabhupada went to America. We all know, hopefully, most of you would have read Prabhupada's life history. After some time, he was staying in a Bowery Street of New York. You can search the history of Bowery Street of New York, especially in 1960s and 70s. It is the most drug hit place. It is considered as a downtown where there is no possibility of sane man living. When there is a proposal for Prabhupada to move to Bowery Streets, some of the well-wishers of Prabhupada objected. No, don't go there. This is not a decent place for any sane man to live. Because it was a common vision in that view in that street that people, the youngsters, boys, girls, drink, taking drugs, lying on the roadside, pathways, sleeping there only, passing urine there, dirtying it and fighting. You cannot even imagine, it is a hell. And Prabhupada moved to Bowery Streets. And he stayed with a drug addict. He would scream at Prabhupada sometimes. And Prabhupada was very merciful unto him. And sometimes when Prabhupada comes, he has to come to the first floor of the building, where in the pathway, on the stairs, there will be some drug addicts, hippies, will be lying down on the stairs. Prabhupada says that as he would walk by the divine will of the Lord and by the Prabhupada's spiritual potency? Or what did those fallen souls saw in Prabhupada? We don't know. They used to little get up and give space for Prabhupada to go and give all respect to him. And Prabhupada would conduct kirtans there and invite these fallen people and make them chant. This is where Prabhupada started this Hare Krishna movement. And again proved what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu proved by liberating a fisherman, by liberating a dog. What Chaitanya Mahaprabhu proved, Prabhupada again proved it just 70 years back from now. Can you see, it is not something we are talking about long ago, once upon a time, there was a king. And we are not talking about, okay, Yudhisthira might have done, not for us. Sometimes people say, Bhagavad Gita is a wonderful philosophy, but it's not practical. May not be possible to sarva dharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja. How is it possible? Man manabho madbhakto madhyajivam namaskuru. How is this possible? So, people started thinking that it is not practical for this age, good literature to appreciate. But Srila Prabhupada again proved in the contemporary world, just a few decades ago, by liberating, by actually elevating people who are most fallen and making them devotees, and those devotees, you must be aware, these devotees who are initial devotees of Srila Prabhupada in America, they traveled with Prabhupada to India in 1970s. And Prabhupada would visit all different cities. He went for Kumbh Mela, then he went to Indore, he went to different cities of India, Jaipur, and they would do street kirtans. It used to be very famous. Because Indians very rarely would see, would have not seen in their life, these British or Americans or white-skinned people doing japa, doing chanting, following our dharma. These days we have internet, we have YouTube, we can see what happening in the other part of the world. And those days, imagine for those people, these are the species from different planet. They would have not seen these tall, fair, white Americans. And Prabhupada got all of them. Otherwise, what they were doing? They were in the Bowery streets probably, drug addicts. And Prabhupada brought all of them and refined them. And he gave them Krishna consciousness. And then, one time in Surat, where Prabhupada, that was become very famous, Prabhupada's kirtans in Surat of Gujarat, where the mayor declared 2 days holidays for ISKCON Sankirtana on the streets. And all the devotees would go, Prabhupada would stay back in the guest house, and Prabhupada sent his American disciples to do kirtan on Surat streets. As devotees go with the kirtan, all these Americans with the sari and with the Indian traditional dress and doing kirtan. And the city of Surat, the people all came to watch and participate, not only just watch. They're so devoted, they all joined the kirtan. And everybody would come with the flowers and garlands. They would shower flower on these devotees and worship them. Oh, so great, you're chanting the glories of Lord. And they would offer the garlands to all the devotees. Sometimes garlands used to overflow their head. That many garlands they used to receive. And with all that garlands, they would do wonderful Sankirtan and take everybody. You see, in India, even though it's our culture, people slowly stopped doing all this Sankirtan. And the Americans came and did Sankirtan. They all joined and there was wonderful Sankirtan. And who has done this? Who are otherwise most fallen on the Bowery streets, who are the drug addicts, and now they are revived by Srila Prabhupada. They are teaching Indians how to do Sankirtan. Can you see how much elevated they are by participating in Krishna consciousness? And they came, they did Sankirtan, and then they come back to Prabhupada with all garlands on their neck like this, and Prabhupada would, with all pride, with a nice smile in his face, you would look at them and appreciate them. So wonderful you are done. And you see, from where to where somebody is in the level of taking drugs, and drug addict to the level of a Brahmana, second initiate, the Dvija, one who can worship the deities. That kind of purification can be brought by chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. So is this process so wonderful and powerful, which we see the result? Forget about Bowery Street, forget about America and all that thing. What about us? And we know what we were before coming to Krishna consciousness. How much transformation has happened within us. Look back 5 years. If you are chanting today, if you are not chanting today, please take up chanting today. And look back after in 2012, 2022, how I was. Now those who are already chanting, look back 5 years, how you were, or 10 years, how you were before coming to Krishna consciousness. Imagine Krishna consciousness has not come in your life, where you would have been. So this is the glory of Hare Krishna movement. That is what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has brought in. To revive this, he came. Because this is the process for Kali Yuga and it is not happening. So he came personally. He incarnated as Lord Chaitanya and Nityananda Prabhu and then propagated this. And today, with the leadership of Srila Prabhupada, we have a wonderful movement spreading across the world, reviving what the process which gave Yudhisthira Maharaj the opportunity to go back to home, go up to Godhead by controlling his senses by yogic process. We have got the same tool with us. Only we need to do as sincere attempt in our devotional service and follow the rules and regulations set by Prabhupada. Make use of the temples, make use of the centers established by Srila Prabhupada to elevate ourselves in Krishna consciousness. So we can also become wonderful in our life, need not to die with a lot of anxiety, lot of trouble. We can remember Krishna. Antakale cha mameva smaran muktva kalevaram. What Krishna said in Gita, we can achieve that by this process. We'll stop here. Grantharaj Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki.